So the sixth and final step or stage in stress management, Jerry, that you have developed is something that you call resources or referrals. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I guess the bigger our world becomes with technology and with travel and the ease of travel, it's often difficult for people to understand where they can go to find the help that they might need. And so it's amazing the amount of resources that are available out there. And I just bring up a few when I do my presentations. One of them obviously is the Rural Support Services, both on their website, which has a tremendous amount of resources for issues that farmers might be facing, whether it's financial stress, succession planning, mediation, family counseling, those type of resources. But also to call in, and like you've mentioned before, is the counselors that are available to talk to people that again can listen to people, but also provide resources for whatever needs that person might have.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other big ones that I really like referring people to is the Canadian Mental Health Association website. What I really like about that website is it has a few exercises that people can do to grade themselves, where they're at as far as work-life balance goes. I recall doing that when I came across that website last spring. I did one test because I felt my life was in balance. I did the test, I answered the questions honestly, and found out I still had a lot of work to do to get more balance in my life. So that's a really, really good one at www.cmha.ca. And then, of course, the third one is the one that you've mentioned a few times, Janet, is the de-stressing one, which really brings yourself into that mindfulness zone where you can hopefully find some resolution to a lot of the turmoil that's going on inside of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in this age of technology and information overload, sometimes it's nice to have someone who can help navigate that for you, whether it's finding a phone number or describing what a service is like. And certainly in Manitoba, we've had some pretty big disasters, whether it be BSE or the flood, the most recent flood of the century. And so there were a lot of programs that were announced and a lot of misinformation, which in itself can cause stress. So I certainly know that our counselors on the Farm and Rural Support Services were busy helping folks navigate through the programs and who are the right people to talk to about that.
So just so people know that the resources are out there. It's just, and they're not that far away either. So
Right. So maybe just to recap, could you just kind of go over the six R's of coping with stress?
Well, obviously, number one is recognize. We need to recognize stress and when it becomes a problem in our lives or when it becomes a crisis. Secondly is to reduce that stress. There's different ways of doing that, but when we recognize the stress, we can start reducing it. Some of the ways to do that is number one, to respond to it through our physical needs, whether that's nutrition, sleeping, exercise. There are ways of responding to it. Relaxing, laugh more, tell funny stories, watch something funny on TV, allow yourself to laugh. And then reach out. There's people out there. There's neighbors out there. I recall an instant in my life when a neighbor asked me how I was doing, and just at the spur of the moment, I kind of started spilling my beans, as it were. And again, it felt so enlightening, and I felt so much better during the course of that day. Not that that person had any answers, but rather just provided a listening ear, and it was really great to do that. And then lastly, of course, is the resources that are available, and to make sure you avail yourself of those resources to help yourself through those stresses you have on a daily basis, because of course as human beings, as farmers, as people, we do have those stresses.
So it's the message being that you're worth it, that if you don't look after yourself, you're not going to be able to look after your family, your relationships, your community obligations, and your business, your farm business. So you're worth it.
There's help and there's relief.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.